Well, good evening, everybody. This is Bobby Harvey with another edition of Winter Trains and Chat here in the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2026, and we are on our way to the trains, even as we speak. Apologize for the slightly late start time. Scheduled to start this thing at 6:35. Of course, it's 6:41 now, but we are on our way to the trains. Driving through south Ottumwa right now. We're going to be going across the Jefferson Street viaduct here towards downtown. When we get our first train, which will most likely be Amtrak's California Zephyr. But we will see as we get closer. Drive underneath Highway 34, and up in the distance we see the bright blue lights, spotlights for the Jefferson Street viaduct, and here we go over the bridge. Get our first look into downtown Ottumwa. We've got the high school there on our right, up on the hill. Head across the bridge over the Des Moines River and the beginning of downtown, which is a little off to our left as we come down off the bridge. Now we'll go over the railroad tracks now. I'll look to my right, and the signals are lit for the east crossover. They are all red from the eastbound movements direction. I'm going to turn downtown here. Like the camera is having a difficult time focusing here. Give the windshield a bath here, see if that helps. That's helped a little bit. There we go. So we are driving through downtown Ottumwa right now. A lot of people out tonight, hitting up some of the downtown restaurants that are down here. There are a few. Downtown is not quite as busy as it used to be, of course, but there's still quite a bit down here. So I think for the beginning of our stream, we will start in the Market Street parking lot. This is Market Street, so we're going to be hanging a left to go back to the railroad tracks. See that the railroad crossing gates, as well as the new Market Street landing gateway on the other side of the tracks here. And I'll look to my west down the railroad tracks, and the signals are not on. Signals are lit to our east. They are all red. So for now, we're going to go ahead and get parked for the California Zephyr. This is the Market Street parking lot. I'm going to go ahead and slide through these cars here. Put ourselves in about the same position that we had the past few times we've done these streams. About right in here. The California Zephyr. A little closer. Right here I can actually see the signals to our east perfectly. So we are going to stop right here. So welcome everybody to the stream. It's the third Winter Trains and Chat program that I have done. And let's hope for some good action tonight along the railroad. So what we're looking at right now is the Market Street grade crossing of BNSF's Ottumwa subdivision. We got the River Hills Health Center off there to our left, and kind of their administrative offices across the street, which used to be part of the South Ottumwa Savings Bank. It's now part of River Hills. The kind of bankish looking structure, pretty much straight ahead there across the tracks and the other side of the crossing gates. And of course, up on the hill with the clock tower kind of glowing in the spotlight is the Ottumwa High School. Some of the back of the downtown buildings you can see down there as well. So, as far as I know, our first train tonight, I turned on the scanner. Have not heard much at all so far from the scanner. It is, haven't heard anything yet. So I'm guessing that our first train is going to be Amtrak. Now, they are running a little late tonight. They left Burlington about 20 minutes late. I'm assuming that they departed Mount Pleasant at about the same delay. So that means that it might be another, 20 minutes or so before they roll into Ottumwa, but we will see. As I said, the signals to our east, which we can see from this vantage point. I'll go ahead and take the phone off of the car mount and kind of show you here. You can see them down there very well from this vantage point. You can see both signal heads. Obviously, the one to the left is for main 1, one to the right is for main 2. And you can see both signal heads of the left-hand track, which is main 1, and the right-hand track, one signal head, is main 2. Mark, thank you very much. Super chat. Happy New Year to you. 2026. Thank you very much. Very generous of you. As always, thank you. All right. So we are going to go ahead and start with the greetings for tonight while we wait for our trains. Said hello to Mark already. Thank you very much once again. A train is here. Great. Thanks a lot. Annette. And Robert Bach is also here. James. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Now, this is, for those of you that might have missed the past couple installments of Winter Trains and Chat, that Iowa Rail fan just joined in. It says, hello, Bobby. Hello to you. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. So anyways, what this stream is, it's a little different from the other live streams that I have been doing, which have been down at the Amtrak station, where we pretty much plant ourselves on the platform and watch Amtrak come in and leave, and then whatever else comes by the station platform. That's what I've been doing most of 2025. In fact, all of my live streams, 2025, except the last few, with one Amtrak station stop thrown in right after Christmas. They were all filmed down at the Amtrak station. And I really like doing those streams, but a couple of downsides in the wintertime. First and foremost is it's cold. It's very cold. It can be very cold in wintertime. Tonight it isn't that bad. It's about 28 degrees and it's pretty calm. But it can get very, very cold. And when I'm down at the station for an hour, sometimes an hour 15, close to an hour and a half, it'd get pretty cold for me down there in the station. So it's a little easier just for me to be in the car where it's nice and warm and not have to freeze my butt off on the station platform for extended periods. So that's one reason why I've started to do these streams from the car in winter. Now, the other reason is the phone battery. I noticed this one of the later streams in fall. It was a cooler night and I didn't charge my phone all the way, and the cold weather obviously just makes the phone battery work harder because the phone's trying to do everything it needs to do, but it's cold, so it's trying to do all this when it's cold, and it just makes the battery work harder, and the battery just drained really fast. Within less than an hour's time, I had like 70% when I started the stream, and then right before I ended it, it went down to 20%, and then like a few minutes later, 10%. And so I ended the stream pretty quick because I was losing my battery. And so I got to thinking, there is no way that I'm going to be able to keep doing these streams in wintertime with the length that I like to do them, with the battery running down so quickly. And this is an iPhone 14, and they have pretty decent battery life in them. So I'm sure it's just because of the winter and the cold weather, and running the live stream and doing all that stuff is just really sucking the battery more than if it was, you know, normal temperatures, you know, ranging from, you know, the 40s to, you know, 70s, 80s. I'm sure when it's really hot, it probably takes more battery to run phones too, because it's trying to, you know, stay cool. So that's the two main reasons why I'm starting to do these streams from the car, because in the car, not only can I stay warm, the phone can actually be on the charger and be charging pretty much the whole time while I do these streams. And so it allows me to do essentially, you know, an unlimited amount of time to do a live stream. I don't have to worry about the battery running down. And that worked really well. If you guys remember, if any of you were able to watch the holiday train stream live, which if you didn't, you can go back and watch the archive. That stream went for 3 hours, and it was something, but it was all filmed from the car as the phone was getting charged, thankfully, because there's no way my battery probably would have been able to stream a 3-hour stream without being charged. So those are the two main reasons why I'm doing these wintertime streams from the car. And it also allows us to kind of be mobile and be away from the station, kind of get some different vantage points than just at the station platform, which allows us to get close to the CPKC tracks, which past couple of winter trains and chat live streams have gotten some CPKC trains up close, which you don't get to do when you're at the Amtrak station, and especially this time of year. In the summer, you can kind of see the movements on the CPKC from the diamond, from the station platform. It's way off in the distance, but you can still see them in the summertime. But obviously at night, you can't see anything, except maybe the engine's headlights if it's a southbound. The track's angled just slightly this way, so you can see the headlights, but that's about it. So the Amtrak station from this vantage point is off to our left. I'll show you guys here as we wait for trains. The Amtrak station is pretty much right over there. Can't really see it because the phone is kind of glaring on the glass there. We'll roll down the window real quick. And there it is. There's the Amtrak station, glowing at night down there, waiting for Amtrak. So when Amtrak comes in, they will be slowing down to make their stop at the station. And some of the other downtown buildings there, kind of the back of them. And the more modern downtown buildings there, you can see kind of the front of some of the south-facing downtown buildings in Ottumwa. Now, something you guys might notice when I'm moving the camera on and off of the mount tonight, I actually got a dash cam and I've installed it. And that thing is working really well. I hear a train whistle. I thought I did. I haven't heard a peep out of anything yet tonight, so got the scanner scanning, so really thought I heard something. It must be something on the CPKC. I haven't heard anything on the radio about a train landing somewhere in the yard or anything yet, so we'll just have to see what happens as far as that goes. But anyways, I got this dash cam a few, well, probably about a month ago now, I'd say. Just always, you know, kind of in the back of my mind, you know, wanting to get one, you know, and install it. So that if, you know, God forbid, you know, I'm in an accident or anything like that, or I have to, you know, prove something, or might be a witness to another accident or something. I mean, you can get it on film, and might help somebody else too. So I've always had this thought in the back of my mind that I need to get one. I finally got one, and it's a front and rear dash cam, and it does very well. Basically, it just comes on whenever you turn the car on, and just records continuously. And there's even a parking mode, like if you're stationary for a certain amount of time. You'll probably hear it here if we're stopped long enough. It'll go into a parking mode, and I don't know if it just takes still pictures or if it's a lower resolution video or what, but yeah, it's nice to have, and records audio, and it records how fast I'm going, and it's time stamped and everything. So it's really nice to have. God forbid, I'm ever in an accident. But if I am, hopefully have video to help with the insurance claims and anything else that might happen. And it might also capture some stupidity going on the highways, and be able to rewatch that over and over again and get a couple of laughs. Which I do enjoy watching some of the fail compilations online. And a lot of them are, from dash cams of people not always necessarily getting into accidents, but dash cams capturing other people getting into accidents. And it's just like, good grief, people. You slow down, watch the traffic lights, and all that other stuff. But yeah, it works really well, and very happy with it so far. All right, we've got a few more people coming in on the chat right now. I think I said greetings to that Iowa Rail fan. Mark Towie, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He says hi from Beach, Virginia. Beach, Virginia. I'm assuming that is along the Atlantic Ocean. Welcome. And Mark made the comment, Mark from Washington, Iowa, he made the comment that next week, and this is true because I looked at the weather forecast not too long ago, the weather is going to be in the 40s next week. And I think there actually might be a couple of days that are going to be close to 50 next week. So I'll have to keep watching the weather forecast, and this is kind of my plan. In the winter, if the weather is nice enough to do a stream from the Amtrak station, do an Amtrak station stop live stream, then I will do so. I don't really know what my cutoff temperature is necessarily, whether it's I guess low 40s, low 40s and up. Could probably do a stream from the station, but it also depends on the wind and all that stuff, because if it's windy, I mean, it could be 40 degrees and feel a lot cooler. So there's a lot of different factors into whether I will do a video from the station live stream in winter. I was able to do one last week because the weather was very unseasonably mild right after Christmas. Now there's some radio chatter. I'm guessing it's from the CPKC. Wonder if they're bringing a train down. I haven't heard them, dial up the dispatcher or anything yet. And as Dakota mentioned, the next comment down from Mark's about the weather, the moon is bright. Yes, it is. The moon is actually just out of view here. I mean, it was a little lower, but it's rising during our stream. The moon is right up there right now, and it is almost full. It'll be a full moon tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. All right, so a lot of people are asking where the trains are. Well, they are coming. We've got, I heard a train horn on the CPKC, so I don't know if they're bringing something down right now. We are actually along the BNSF right now, waiting for Amtrak. They're going to be coming probably within the next 10 or 15 minutes. They were running 20 minutes late out of Burlington the last time I checked, and they're most likely west of Mount Pleasant by now, so they're going to be coming pretty soon. Go ahead and kind of dim the car lights here so we can get ready for our train. Mark was about the dash cam. He was commenting about figuring to get a dash cam myself, have to figure out how to mount it to my CRV. The way this one's mounted, it's actually pretty neat, and it's probably applicable to a bunch of different cars. You have this like sticky, like square adhesive area, and you peel that off and you stick it onto the inside of the windshield, and then you peel off the adhesive that's on the camera and you just stick it to that, and it just sticks really well, and that's it. Then you can kind of angle the camera and all that. Let's see here, it's actually a pretty good view. You can kind of see what the dash cam is recording right now, right there. Pretty much the exact same view. All right, so we are waiting.
KCF 4582 southbound.
Now there we go. There's the CPKC train.
BNSF gotta run Amtrak through, and then it'll be your turn.
Aha! Well, that's good. So it sounds like, we'll let them finish talking here for a second. They are done. I don't know. That was the CPKC dispatcher. The train that I heard was indeed a southbound CPKC train, Kansas City Southern leader. Sounds like they are going to run, BNSF's going to run Amtrak. They must already have them lined up to go through. And the way it is down there at the Diamond, BNSF has control of the Diamond. So if they've got something lined up, they probably could take the signal back, but typically they're not going to for their own trains. So if BNSF has something lined up, CPKC puts in a request. Well, BNSF pretty much tells them, you know, tough beans, we're running a train, and CPKC trains have to wait. And that is the case with this southbound right now. It's going to wait for Amtrak. Amtrak's going to come in and go by the Diamond, and then that train will continue south. And that works to our advantage because we won't miss the train. We will see Amtrak arrive and then depart, and then it'll be right over there where the CPKC is. We'll be able to see that southbound train. Now, the way it sounds, they'll be able to go right after Amtrak. If that's the case, there probably aren't any other BNSF trains either in the area or lined up at the moment.
BNSF DS 44 to Amtrak number 5, over. Yeah, I just wanted to do a radio check and see if I was sounding better, over. Correct. All right, thanks. You guys have a good rest of your day. DS 4 out.
For a minute there, I thought that the BNSF dispatcher was going to ask Amtrak if they were okay for a signal change at the ice to let that CPKC train through. They have actually done that before, but it doesn't normally happen. It only happens if, like, for example, if a movement on the BNSF has caused a delay or there's an issue or something and they could run a CPKC train through, they'll ask the train permission to change the signal. And if they're in a place where they're able to change the signal to red, then they'll go ahead and let a train through on the CPKC. That happened once when Amtrak was in the station and there was a really long delay and I don't remember what it was for, but the dispatcher came on and asked if it was okay to change the clear signal that they had from green to red. And of course they were in the station, so they were okay to comply with that, and they did, and they let a BNSF train come through and go onto the CPKC in front of them. I think Amtrak was in the station for an hour. I wonder if I remember right, I think the freight train had something to do with that. They were trying to get the freight train through, and the only way to do that was to hold Amtrak. But, yeah. So anyways, Amtrak is on its way. They are, I think somebody just said that they were clear of Batavia. What was that? Yeah, Mark just said that that was at 7:03, so it's 7:07 now, so it's 4 minutes ago. Number 5 is at Batavia. So they're probably getting close to or through agency by now. So guesstimation, probably another 10 minutes or so, if less, before they get here. Or even less time than that. Gates are coming down. Here comes Amtrak. So once they come in, we're going to see them at the station, get them departing, and get that CPKC train. And rolling into the station about 12 minutes late. That's not bad. They've made up some time. We are going to go ahead now and jump to the other side of the station. As they do their station work, they are just rolling in right now. Off we go. See them down there at the station right now. They literally just pulled in just seconds ago as we head down to the other side of the platforms to get ready to see them depart. There was somebody, it wasn't that car, but there was somebody who was pulling up to the Market Street crossing as Amtrak was approaching, and they literally did a 3-point turn to turn around right before the intersection so they wouldn't have to wait on the train. It's like Amtrak is going to be clear in like 20 seconds. You can't wait for 20 seconds for a short passenger train? I don't know. Some people are just really impatient. So we're driving on the little 2-lane road behind the water plant. We're going to check out Amtrak as it's sitting in the station like we have the past couple of times during these streams. Most likely, this is the same consist that we saw last week because it's only been 6 days since our previous stream. And I think that's the case, except for the lead locomotive. Lead locomotive is different from last time. I'm pretty sure in our last stream, the lead engine was 83. Today, 135 is the leader. The second engine is the same, number number 33. We're going to turn right here as we're underneath the Highway 149 bridge and take a quick look at the engines on our train. Hopefully this person behind me doesn't want to come down here. We'll just do a slight roll by here. Oops. Caught in the... There it is. Engine 135. Engine 33 behind that. Okay. Go ahead and turn around here. .632 sleeping car right there. So your basic winter consist for the Zephyr tonight, consisting of 2 locomotives, baggage car, transition sleeper, 2 sleeping cars, dining car, lounge car, and 2 coaches.
Amtrak number 5, good marker. Marker. Number 5, Andrew, any issues with that? No, there is.
All right, so the conductor just told them that they've got good markers. They haven't whistled off yet, but I suspect that will be coming shortly. If you look at our lead locomotive on the train tonight, track 135, one of the newer P42s built in the early 2000s. Of course, these newer P-42s are over 20 years old now, so you can definitely see that they are kind of long in the tooth now, but still very reliable locomotives. The only thing going against them is their age. Never thought I'd see the day when I would describe one of these engines as being old, but on the railroad, you know, a 20-year-old engine is getting kind of up there, especially a passenger locomotive. Now, on the freight railroads, you know, 20-year-old engine isn't that big a deal. And still, you know, you can still do its job for probably a good 20 more years. And Amtrak is electing to not really do too many heavy overhauls of these engines. They have instead decided to get newer diesels, known as the Chargers, ALC 42s. They are going to replace a generous portion of these P-42s eventually. Not all of them, but most of them. So I'm guessing that Amtrak is going to keep a select few, probably the more reliable Genesis engines, and retire the rest when that day comes. But I don't see heavy retirement of the P-42s happening anytime soon. Probably a couple more years, if not longer, because the ALC 42s still have a lot of all right, there's the warning whistle. We're gonna get going, get down to our other location here before the train leaves. Go ahead and jump ahead to, well,
track number 5, we can highball those couple of just shoot them.
Okay, they're not going to wait around for anything.
Track 5, highball someone. On a clear.
On a clear. All right, so off we go. We are going to go to McLean Street tonight. Difference in the past couple of videos. We got one at Gateway Drive in our first Winter Trains and Chat video, and Clay Street last time. Now we'll go to McLean Street this time. And then we will jump ahead down to the CPKC and get that southbound train. So thankfully there's not a whole lot of traffic out here tonight, so we should be able to just gradually roll up to McLean Street crossing, unless there's somebody coming, of course. So on Gateway Drive, we're going to turn right onto McLean Street and just do a gradual roll up to the crossing and hope that nobody is behind me when we do this.
Number 5, good runner. Oh, that runner. Number 5.
There we go. Gates are coming down. Of course, this scene is kind of out of focus, so it might not work very well. Oh dear. Well, let's get this off the... Very glary. Oh well, it is what it is. Here we go. Amtrak's California Zephyr departing Ottumwa, heading west. Yeah, the glare of the crossing lights from this angle is just kind of reflects off the windshield. But yeah, such is the case of filming trains at nighttime. Usual consist, we got the two coaches there on the end of the train, and off they go. California Zephyr is now clear of McLean Street. We are on our way to more trains here in Ottumwa. We roll on through the crossing onto our next photo location, which is going to be most likely the Gateway Drive crossing for CPKC. There is a southbound train on the CPKC right now. We're going to go ahead and go down there.
Two words for you.
On Main Street now. Slide down to Clay Street. And the gates for Clay Street are actually just going up right now from Amtrak.
Ready now. 729, 32, Halbin, 3569, Main 1, 33, 3569, Creston, Main 2. 729-32, Halbin to 3569 on Main 1, 729-33, 3569, Creston on Main 2, is that correct? Correct.
Alright, this is the Clay Street crossing. The signals are actually out now on BNSF for westbound trains. Go ahead and hang a right here onto Gateway Drive down to the grade crossing at CPKC. And wait for our southbound freight train. Which probably should be arriving here pretty quick.
BNSF DS report, Amtrak 135 West, 730-90, display for release, over.
Enter condition, AMTK 135 West, 43rd track warrant 730-90 between CTC CP 2502, CTC Ottumwa, clear at 1924, over.
Understand, AMTK 135 West, reporting clear on track warrant 730-90 between CTC CP 2502 and CTC Ottumwa at 1924-1924. Is that correct, over?
Enter briefing, Conductor Van Olsen, you're going to see agreed, that's correct, over.
Both engineer and conductor agree, correct, over.
Correct, over. 0919, over.
0919. Alright, thanks. You guys have a good rest of your trip. The DS full 4 up.
Have a good night.
Alright, so that was Amtrak just clearing up on their warrant from coming into town. And they're on CTC all the way to Albia, and at Halpin, which is west of Albia, they are back on track warrant control. You might have heard the conductor and engineer talking to each other about the track warrants they've got to go from Halpin towards Creston, running on Main 1 and then Main 2. It sounded like they're switching tracks further west. So they left at 7:19, which was about, well, almost a half hour late, but not quite. Probably about 22 minutes late, which is not too bad. Like I've said in previous streams, if they don't lose too much more time, they actually will have the ability to potentially make up that time as they head west, and probably will still be able to get to California on time in a couple of days, barring any other delays, of course. So now that Amtrak is through, and if anybody missed Amtrak, just go ahead and back up the stream about 15-20 minutes or so, and you'll be able to see it come in and leave. Now the shot I got at McLean Street wasn't that great because the crossing lights were glaring on the car windshield just right, so it didn't really, the phone camera couldn't really focus very well, unfortunately. So it wasn't the greatest shot of them departing, but anyways, it's just what happens sometimes when you are filming at night and you have a lot of glare from, you know, street lights and other cars and a bunch of other things. And you have to be at just the right angle to get a decent picture when you're filming from the car. But did okay. All right, so we're going to go back up the chat here as we wait for our train. I'm going to kind of roll down the right-hand window here just to make sure that I don't miss hearing the train as it comes down the hill. I'm guessing they're probably fairly close. I don't know if they haven't gotten the signal yet or what, but have a new viewer, Tatted Rail Fan Productions. Welcome. Glad you could make it. And that was right before Amtrak got in. Kirk is here, asking if he could see Amtrak at the Diamond. Which I have not done that yet during these streams this year. I don't think I have anyways. No. We got him at McLean Street. I probably could have got him down here, but you wouldn't have been able to see the train very well at night. It just would have been kind of glaring in the car headlights from a distance. We got to see kind of how BNSF trains look here when I did the holiday train stream last November, late November. You can see the trains pretty well from here on the BNSF because obviously the Diamond is just right down there to our right, but generally speaking, you get better views elsewhere, especially for Amtrak. Let's see. Train, I don't know if it's stopped up there on the hill. A lot of times they do that. They'll park them on the hill in view of the signal down here at Lawler, waiting for BNSF movements. You'd think they would have come through by now, so I don't know. Maybe they're waiting a little farther up. Wouldn't think it'd be very long though. BNSF had anything else lined up.
Yes, 45 inches south of
Yeah, I think that was them right now. We just heard. We were talking about the Genesis locomotives and how they are eventually going to be replaced by the ALC 42s that Amtrak has on order. And I don't think that that full replacement is going to happen anytime soon, because I was about ready to say more when they whistled off and we got going, but the ALC 42s and the Chargers in general still have a lot of issues that need to be ironed out. The SC44s, which are the short distance chargers, they've been around for quite a while, approaching 10 years, believe it or not. If not a little longer, which is hard to believe, but it is true. They've been having a lot of issues lately. And the long distance chargers have been running on certain Amtrak trains for quite a few years now. The Empire Builder, the Coast Starlight, the Texas Eagle, or no, not the Texas Eagle, the City of New Orleans, what else? The Capital Limited, of course, now the Floridian, the Auto Train, they're running on the Auto Train now, and a few other routes, but there are several that do not have chargers yet. The California Zephyr being one of them. They have only run on the California Zephyr a very brief handful of times. A couple of times when they were being tested, and then one time they came east with engine 301 leading. That was back in 2022, I'm pretty sure. That was kind of a test run to see how well they'd perform. And since then, there have been no trains led by chargers on the California Zephyr route. And I think it's because Amtrak is still trying to find a fuel vendor that has the DEF diesel fuel that the chargers require. They haven't gotten contractors lined up for the fuel stops on the Zephyr route yet. At least that's what I've heard. And from what I gather, once they get those contractors lined up, then the chargers will be running on the Zephyr. But I've heard that for, over a year now, and nothing's really happened. So I guess we'll just have to see what the new year brings. They're also not running on the Southwest Chief yet either, or the Sunset Limited. So there are still several long-distance trains that they are not running on. The Genesis engines will be around for a long time yet. And obviously, there were at one time well over 200 P-42 locomotives that were operated by Amtrak. There's much less now. There's a lot of them have been wrecked, and some of them have been just retired because they've gotten too unreliable and things like that. But the best Genesis engines will be running on Amtrak for a very long time yet. And I do believe that the chargers, all the teething issues with the long-distance chargers will be worked out, and they will eventually be, reliable locomotives. If you remember, which I don't really remember because I was very young when the Genesis engines came out, they had teething issues too. So, and they got ironed out, and now they're reliable engines.
Amtrak North Yard Limit is open. Restriction South 27, South 20.
All right, here comes our CPKC train. From what I heard just now, it is train 654. I've not heard that number yet, so I wonder if that's an oil train. We'll have to see. Yeah, it looks like it might be a sand train. Well, here it comes. Southbound CPKC train 654. Yeah, it does look like that this is a sand train. Those short two-bay covered hopper cars. Kansas City Southern Leader and a Canadian Pacific locomotive second unit. And as you can hear, the train is slowing down. As they go across the Des Moines River, the division point and the crew change area is on the other side of the river, and they are slowing down in preparation of the approach to the yard. Now, all the switches in the yard are hand throw switches, and so depending on what track they're landing on, they might have to stop short of the switch to line themselves into the yard.
Check 5-4. Radio 654 right. Left whenever you want it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to stop to line the switches, just like I was talking about. And again, all the switches in the yard here in Ottumwa are hand throw. So the crew or people in the yard, depending on where they are, they will have to line the switches to get into the track they want to pull in on. And the train has stopped. And I can actually hear the DPU at the end of the train. They had to, I don't know what track they're landing on. Didn't get to hear that conversation, or maybe I wasn't paying attention earlier when we were talking to the dispatcher. But either way, the switch is, lined whichever way they had it lined for the last train.
5-4, switch line lock check. Reverse mainline 80 title. Switch lock, check reverse 80 tighter, 4 bits left hand train. Switch 5-4. On board.
All right, so sounded like the switch was lined for the main, and they've now lined it into the reverse position, so they are pulling in on one of the other tracks besides the main, either the 1 track, 2 track. And the train from down here is about clear. They're just pulling into the yard right now. From our vantage point, they're about clear. Here at Gateway Drive on the other side of the Des Moines River. And here comes the rear DPU. Another Kansas City Southern ES44AC, looks like. Kansas City Southern de Mexico locomotive. Always neat to see one of those. And away they go. Kind of a neat glint of the headlight back in the fog and the mist there. Pretty neat. As they round the corner towards the first of two Des Moines River bridges, the railroad actually goes across Turkey Island, which is in the middle of the Des Moines River here in Ottumwa. So that's why there are two bridges across the Des Moines River. The one closest to us is a very a short bridge, and the other one is I believe it's a 3 or 4 truss span that goes across the bigger channel of the Des Moines River on the other side of Turkey Island, which the train is just now, the last bit of it is going across, even as we speak. So, got 120 people watching right now. That is spectacular. Thank you all for watching. So we are going to head towards the BNSF once again to see if maybe there are some other trains in the area before we end the stream for the night. Really appreciate all you guys watching. We've seen 2 trains so far, and it is about 7:45. So we will see if there's anything else going on before we end the stream tonight. Have some more acknowledgments in the stream or in the chat as we go along. And here we go. Turn around from this point. We are going to go ahead and cross the railroad tracks. This is the CPKC. The first track is the main. The other track we're about ready to cross is the interchange track, where the CPKC can run trains from their line to the BNSF. And in our last stream, I'm pretty sure we actually saw one of those trains, coal train, going into the yard from BNSF. And as A-Train just commented, some of the sand trains are interchanged off and on the CPKC as well from BNSF. I actually got a video of one of those trains last year. Strange to say last year now, but it was just about a month ago. I got one of the interchange sand trains. I believe that was train 655, the one I got last month. The train we just saw was 654, so I wonder if that's the counterpart train, and it will be eventually interchanged to BNSF when they get to that point. Could very well be. I'll have to look up the numbers online. Somebody has CPKC train numbers online. All right, we're going to turn left here on Gateway, where it turns into Clay Street, and see what the signals look like here on the BNSF. See if there are any other trains in the area. And this first track we're about ready to go across is just kind of a siding. It doesn't get used very much anymore. Well, the eastbound signals are lit. Way down there, I can see. They're all red though. Westbound signals are out. Now it's possible. It is possible that because they did not come in on the main CPKC train 654, the one we just saw go by, it's possible that there might be another train in the yard on the main that might leave, maybe even go north, who knows. We'll have to see. But we've been streaming here for a little over an hour, so we'll check and see if there's anything else going on. Might go ahead and wrap things up. We will see. heading east back towards downtown Ottumwa. As we come up to the four-way stop with Main Street and McLean Street. Well, it is about 29 degrees outside. Nice and warm in the car, though. There on our right is Main Street Donuts. The owner of Main Street Donuts is actually a very big rail fan. He's the one that has the cabooses and the Union Pacific work car behind the donut shop. He's also a former railroad worker. He owns Main Street Donuts. Very tasty donuts they make there. It's right next to the railroad. And there is Gateway Drive off to our right, Kitterman Drive to our left. Go back downtown here real quick and take a look at those signals one more time. See if they've changed. Not gotten word of any other CPKC trains. If there is a northbound in the yard, they probably will notify the dispatcher before they leave to get their signal to head out of town. CTC trackage all the way to Muscatine from Ottumwa going north now. See the station as we go by here. Still lit up for Christmas. Red and green accent lights on the station. I'll show you guys real quick. Pretty cool. They also have those similar lights on the high school, but they're not running anymore. They're not doing the Christmas light show anymore, I don't think. And I never got to actually tune in to that radio station to see, to listen to the music to the lights. Here we are back at Market Street. We head south, turn right here. Westbound signals are still dark. Eastbound signals are all red for both tracks. So I don't know what that means. So we will come back down here to the Market Street parking lot. Just kind of acknowledge some of you guys' messages real quick. And then we'll see from there. Probably fix a lot of the holes in this parking lot. If I can get about where I was last time, I can see the signals from right where I park. And I think this is actually it. Right there. That's a good place to park, because you can literally see both signals exactly. Yeah, so they're
30 short or 25 short. Yeah, I got about 7 more. Alright.
Yeah, I wonder if there's another train in the CPKC yard down there. Well, as we're waiting to see if there are any other trains, we'll just go back to the chat really quick here. See if I can get caught up here. Yeah. It is Amtrak departed. And we're talking about the CPKC train. Don't know if I acknowledged George Railfan. Welcome. Tatted Railfan Productions, he commented about the Chargers, the ALC Chargers. The Wolverine service has the ALC Chargers. And that's something that you actually have seen, I've observed. Amtrak is, interestingly, the state-supported Chargers, the SC44s, they're having a bunch of issues right now. And Amtrak is actually subbing the long-distance Chargers on some of the short-distance trains. He was just mentioning the Wolverine, and I have seen video and pictures of them running on the Illinois Zephyr. And when I was in St. Paul a couple months ago, my wife and I went up there to see a concert, and I got to see... while we were up there, I got to get a couple shots of the Amtrak Borealis train, and coming back into St. Paul, just train 1333, the westbound train, there was an ALC 42 on the back of the train. So that's a short distance train. They're running those engines on that train as well. So I think, believe it or not, I think the ALC 42s are actually a little more reliable than the... Yeah, we about saw an accident there. Pickup truck going across the crossing and turn, and this white car just rear-ended him. Yeah, I think the ALC 42s are actually might be a tad more reliable than the SC 44s. And I think there's some operational issues with some of the older versions of the Chargers that I think in the newer versions they've kind of fixed. So A-Train also commented recently the lack of PTC on part of the Zephyr route might be an issue for the Chargers for some reason. And that is true. There is a portion of the California Zephyr route. It's out in western Colorado and Utah, I'm pretty sure. Grand Junction to, I think, to almost Salt Lake City, like maybe Provo even. There's a stretch of the Union Pacific line out there that does not have PTC. And I think they can kind of get away with that because there aren't very many trains on that line. I don't think there are any trains that regularly haul hazardous materials. So that line is, for right now anyways, exempt from the PTC requirements. There aren't very many Class 1 rail lines that are exempt from PTC, but that is one of them. I think there's only maybe like 3 or 4 freight trains a day, and obviously just the Zephyr, so 2 passenger trains. So the lack of trains, and I don't think there's any hazardous materials run on trains through there, so that allows that part of the line to be exempt from PTC. And so I don't know if the Chargers are set up for PTC and nothing else, and that's why it's difficult for them to run on lines without PTC, or what the deal is. I don't know.
That's not a bad idea.
And we had 654 coming through. That Iowa Rail fan asked if I would ride a Metro commuter train. Well, I've actually ridden several Metro commuter trains before. I've actually gotten a little bit of video from them, not much, but a little video from my video camera. As far as doing a live stream on the train, I found it's kind of difficult to do live streams from a moving train. You don't get a very good cell reception when you're on a moving train. I think it's because you're moving so fast, and the camera or the phone is, you know, jumping from tower to tower to get reception, and it can be kind of spotty.
Yep, with KCS 4671, operating mode normal, opposite direction.
Yeah, it sounds like the 654 train's getting switched around to become a BNSF train, which I think that was my theory, that is the counterpart to train 655 that comes in from the BNSF to go north on the CPKC. It's going to be a long time probably before they get that everything switched around and heading out. So I'm caught up on the chat here. Yeah, I've like to get to Chicago this year. Did not make it to Chicago in 2025, which really is pretty amazing, because we usually try and get to Chicago at least once a year, and we didn't last year. So hopefully that.
Can I get that south bend turn around here?
Yeah, I was on my way, but I accidentally went here, but I'll be there in a minute.
Alright, thank you.
So yeah, hopefully we make it to Chicago this year. Got some plans for some new videos that I'm going to talk about in some future uploads. Stay tuned for that. Obviously, I'm still working on the Old Threshers video from this year. It's been a long time coming. Still working on the script. Very busy holiday season, so hopefully now that the holidays are over, as of yesterday, of New Year's Day, be able to get some more work done on that video and get it out. And then once I'm done with that, I'll go to work on some other projects that I have in the pipeline. There are many of them. California Zephyr video from Chicago to San Francisco. That's going to be high on my priority list for this year. I'd like to get that one done. Really looking forward to working on that video. There are several others that I'd like to do this year as well. Along with what I was talking about doing last year and didn't really do it, some more vlogging type videos of trips that I take and, you know, things like that. And videos of my model trains, my O-gauge train layout in our house. I'd like to get some video of that as well. And also, if any of you remember the video I made many years ago, believe it or not, it's been almost 10 years ago, of those little wooden railway compatible paper trains that I built, the Amtrak engines that I built. If anybody has seen that video or remember it, I posted that if it got a good response, that I would put the templates up online for you guys to print off and be able to build your own trains and have a how-to video of how to put them together and stuff. Well, I am going to try this year, and I've said it many times in the past and never got around to it. I am going to try to actually get that video made and get those templates online, and for you guys to be able to make those trains. And I'm planning on making some other trains to go along with it. I've made a baggage car to go along with the engines. I made it a couple years later after I made the P-42 locomotives. So I made a baggage car, a kind of one of the older Bud type baggage cars, Santa Fe version that you you'd see quite a bit on Amtrak right before they got the Viewliner 2 baggage cars. So I made one of those, and those are the only 2 templates I've made. And I made some track pieces as well that have wider curved radii, because the original wooden railway curves are too sharp for the trains that I've made. They go around them, but if you make a long train, much longer than 3 or 4 cars, they start to, you know, pull off the tracks and string lines. So I've built my own kind of foam / wooden track pieces for my trains. I'm probably going to add on to that too, and do some more work on those. So I'm hoping to get a video up of those, how to make those. I've also kind of entertained the idea of motorizing some of those trains too, and showing you guys how I do that. So be on the lookout for those videos this year. Hope to actually get those done this year. But again, I plan on making like kind of a update video soon of all the plans that I have for this year, some potential plans for videos this year. I hope to get that up, you know, pretty soon. And the Iowa Rail fan also asks, do you think Metra commuter trains will use the Siemens Charger locomotives? Well, probably not. They still have their F40s in several different variants. A lot of them have already gone through overhauls, so they're pretty, you know, bulletproof locomotives. And they also have all the F59s, and they've got the MP36 locomotives, and also the SD70 Mocs, which I think those things have been pretty successful. Would not surprise me if Metra eventually gets more of those. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think there's talk of making a battery cell F40 locomotive. I think it might actually be out in Pueblo right now, being worked on somewhere out west. That Metra is eventually going to have a battery cell locomotive they're going to be testing. So I don't think they're probably going to get any Siemens Chargers that I know of. Well, there's a blip on the BNSF. I don't know what that's about. We'll see. Signals are still red to our east.
BNSF vehicle forward. Yeah, the CP has a light, and I've asked them how long until we have to wait. So as soon as they answer me, I'll let you know. Over. Thank you. The vehicle forward.
CP has the light. Well, I wonder if they're running a northbound train. I have not heard a peep about a northbound train, so I don't know what that is. It sounds like there is a westbound BNSF train approaching, but they have an approach signal, and they just asked the dispatcher what the deal was. And she just told them that there is a CPKC train that has the light, but they haven't moved yet. I have not heard anything about a northbound train, so well, I'm probably not going to be running this stream much longer, so we will see what pans out. That Iowa Rail fan also asks, do you have plans to rail fan the Iowa Interstate Railroad? Not right away. I've done a lot of rail fanning on the Iowa Interstate over the past several years, mostly surrounding the QJ steam locomotives, and I've done a few I've taken a few bits of video of some freight trains here and there, but it's usually surrounding the QJs, which obviously they are both down right now for their 15-year FRA boiler overhauls. Last year, the Railroading Heritage of Midwest America, they ran a excursion train with the Centennial locomotive 6936 from the Quad Cities to how far did they take that? Was it all the way to it was all the way to Iowa City, wasn't it? I think they turned it around at South Amana and took it back over a weekend, if I remember right. We were actually in Branson, Missouri when they did that, so I wasn't able to see that train, but I have a feeling that the Railroading Heritage Group is going to do some more excursions this year with either with the Centennial again, or possibly it would be pretty cool if they put their Santa Fe -8 on a train and ran an excursion with that. Maybe put it on one end and the Centennial on the other. That would be a pretty cool excursion. So I have a feeling that it is possible that I might get out on the Iowa Interstate sometime this year. So I'm not going to rule it out. Really enjoyed the time that I have been up there on that line. I've gotten quite a bit of video the past several years of trains on the Iowa Interstate. Really enjoy it. It is a fun line to rail fan. Not just special trains, but also, you know, regular trains too. And it's not really that far away from Ottumwa. I don't rail fan up there enough. A couple years ago, now, believe it or not, 2024 was a couple years ago now, I was rail fanning quite a bit on the Union Pacific's Oskaloosa subdivision. And that requires a drive through Grinnell, which is where the line crosses the Iowa Interstate. And that is the closest I've been to the Iowa Interstate in recent years. I actually got a couple trains going through there while I'm waiting for the Union Pacific trains. But that is as close as I have gotten the past year or two. Robert Bach says he took the California Zephyr to Chicago in October from Omaha and rode Metra back out to Aurora. Believe it or not, I've only ridden the BNSF line of Metra, which is the same line that the California Zephyr uses in the Southwest Chief, the racetrack from Aurora to Chicago. I have only ridden Metra on that line once. A round trip from Lisle to Chicago, and then a brief jaunt from Chicago to LaGrange Road and back. It was the same day, to get one of my last pictures for my California Zephyr documentary, the train going through at speed at LaGrange Road, which I got a pretty good run by there.
BNSF vehicle 4 to NS 3662, the other DS said that that train you're meeting about a mile out over.
Oh, good grief.
Thank you. It's a diesel 4.
NS 3662. Well, this train has a Norfolk Southern leader. Unfortunately, we're probably going to end the stream before they go through because it is past 8 o'clock. But I wonder if there's a southbound, another southbound coming on the CPKC. If they said they're about a mile out, well, that leads me to believe that it's another southbound. So we're going to try and run down there and see if maybe that is the case before we end the stream tonight. Because they wouldn't line, I wouldn't think that they would line a northbound and have the northbound be sitting there for that long. Still, I have not heard anything from the dispatcher about any train, northbound or southbound, so we'll just have to see. But definitely after this train, whatever it may be, that will be the end of our stream for tonight. Because I've been going for an hour and a half already, so. Yeah, there's the defect detector up on the hill. Or it might even be just... Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to make this train or not, as they are coming down the hill right now. It sounds like the communication is still in the French, so we might make it. They might just be hitting the webcam at Caldwell Street. I think I heard them say 576, which I think is an oil train. Not sure about that, but we will see. As we head west down Gateway Drive one more time in pursuit of another CPKC train. I do apologize for the bumpiness through here. Not much that can be done about that. I don't think anything's going through the crossing yet, but I did hear the defect detector go off down the hill, so I did not hear what the leader of this train was, so it'll be a surprise, whatever it is. All right, coming back down here to the little crossing here at Gateway Drive. Seems to be one of our favorite spots to get CPKC trains at night. Well, traffic's still going through on West 2nd Street, so here we are again. We just left here not too long ago, but yeah, this will be our last train of the night. It is 8:13 and going for, we can hear it. Cool. Yep. Robert Bach says, not by the webcam yet. I'm pretty sure they're whistling for Caldwell Street right now, so. All right, so we've got one more train. This will be our third train of the night. We have seen 3 trains, Amtrak, and this next train on the CPKC. So we've had over 100 viewers for the past, 20, 30 minutes or so. I really appreciate all the reception that these videos are getting. I really enjoy doing these, and I look forward to doing many more in this new year. So again, we have got one more train that's coming towards us now. We are at Gateway Drive here in Ottumwa, waiting for this southbound CPKC train, and I think that they said this was a 674, which actually I think that's a grain train if the numbering has remained the same. And that is actually, if that's what it is, that is one of the trains that for whatever reason, did not get renumbered back when CP renumbered all the trains right before the merger. 674 stayed the same. So we'll see. The crossing gates are coming down at West 2nd Street. Robert Bach just said that was it 576? I think I just said 576. He does confirm from the webcam at Caldwell Street that it is an oil train. And here they come. Yep. Oil cars, tank cars, here they come. Coming down and around. You'll hear them rattling over the BNSF here momentarily as our final train of the night approaches. and a Kansas City Southern de Mexico leader. Now this must be an empty oil train because again there are no warning placards visible on the cars, and also there is not a buffer car at the front. Which is kind of interesting because at least in the past I thought that the A train was literally just thinking the same thing, that oil trains typically on this line were loaded going south because they were full of the oil that comes from the Dakotas, so naturally they'd be coming south from that region. But no, I don't. Clearly, if this was a loaded train, there would have to be the warning placards visible on the cars, and they are all blank. So.
Over. I don't think that's the proper way to answer, but are we okay to go by you there on the main? You guys in the yard and everything good?
Yeah, we're all good. We're going to go by. Stand tall here. Check out what we can.
Okay. All right. Well, if you just let us know, make sure our DP gets into a spot that can be fueled, that'd be great. We'll drop anybody on it.
I'll do what I can. If the truck is at the turnaround, the blade's off, facing, waiting patiently.
The truck is at the turnaround waiting for us.
Fuel truck? Yep.
Oh, fuel truck. I thought you were talking about yard truck.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you should just let the agent talk. You can't keep up with the conversation.
Fair enough, fair enough. Understood. Sorry to bother you. Al?
Yeah, train crews are having a little fun with each other, it sounds like. But yeah, I wonder, okay, we've got some intel coming in about these trains, 576 and 577. I'll fill you guys in, back it up here on the chat momentarily. Sounds like this train has a mid-train DPU, which is a little unusual for oil trains through here. So I think I confirmed on the radio that this is a 576 train. Well, here's the mid-train DPU. And it is a Canadian Pacific engine. ES44.
You know what, Hal? The more I think about it, I didn't like your tone, over.
Sorry, I had to run all the way back to the radio. What's that, over?
I said I didn't like your tone, over.
Oh, all right. I'll get that changed. Stand by while I work on that one.
All right, we'll stand by, Al.
I hope they're... I'm assuming they're just joking with each other. Okay, did anybody get the numbers on that DPU? I saw it plain as day, but I think it was an 8800 ES44 AC. Not sure on that, but yeah, they're rolling them to a stop here. Wonder if they're going to go on one of the other tracks besides the main too.
Radio check 576 AEL.
Okay, yeah, 576.
I got some.
Oh yeah, if they're going in on the main, obviously the previous train went in on the siding, so they're going to have to line themselves in on the main. So that's why they stopped. So yeah, we're going to go back up the chat here. Dylan Hunter 9330 says that 576 and 577 carry tar crude, which is still oil but has some kind of additive that makes it non-hazardous. So there we go. That is why the warning placards, the hazardous placards on the cars are blank. It is not hauling anything hazardous, and that is also why there probably are not any buffer cars on the train as well. Tar crude. Very interesting. Thank you for your comment. But yes, as Robert Bach and some of the other rail fans here in the chat were commenting, if this was a crude oil train, just regular crude oil, 1267 would be the placard on them. Regardless of whether the train is loaded or empty, they would still have to be placarded with those warnings, because I mean, I'm sure that even an empty train might still have some, remnants of like, I don't know, like fumes maybe of any hazardous materials. Sorry about that. I was getting a potential spam call. I'm glad the stream kept going while I canceled that. Okay, sounds like they are moving again. Slack rolling out on the train as we get going. Mid-train DPU loading up there. Now usually when they do that, there may or may not be any engines on the rear of the train. There probably is not. That's my guess anyway. But yeah, tar crude on this train. Very interesting. Train 576. I feel like I've seen this train before. Or maybe 577. Yeah, A-Train commented, said that sort of 576 originating in Alberta, Canada. Highly possible.
You have been driving continuously for 2 hours. Please take a break.
Okay. My dash cam is informing me that I have been driving for 2 hours. Okay. Even though I've been stationary for most of the time. Probably a good idea if you really were driving continuously for 2 hours to take a break, but I have not, so. Yeah. Just my dash cam, taking care of me. Yeah, Kit Kat actually sounds good right now. Now, we've got plenty of Christmas candy and treats still at home from the holidays, so I'm not gonna add to the pile and just go home and eat some of that. Yeah, there are quite a few CPKC trains out here that have mid-train DPUs. You see them a lot more lately than you did before, because a couple years ago, a train about stalled on Rutledge Hill, and in fact, it did stall and actually started rolling backwards into the BNSF. And luckily, there wasn't a train down at the bottom of the hill for them to meet. But ever since then, it seems like the power desk is assigning more power, including mid-train DPUs, to a lot of these freight trains that come through here and have to deal with Rutledge Hill. Definitely a good idea in the wintertime when you have no idea what the weather might be. And here comes the end of the train. As suspected, no end DPU, just the EOT at the end. And there we go. So with that, train 576 on the CPKC is now clear of Gateway Drive. And we are about done with tonight's broadcast, as I've been on the air for almost 2 hours here in Ottumwa. And we have seen 3 trains: Amtrak's California Zephyr, southbound CPKC train 654, a sand train, and then just now, CPKC train 576. Some different CPKC trains that we haven't seen before on these streams. So with that, we are going to go ahead and get ready to wrap things up for the night. I think I already gave you guys a pretty good summary of some of my future train videos and plans. I wonder if that BNSF train's coming now. But we'll keep things going until we clear the BNSF tracks, because obviously I have to take that route anyways after I end the stream, so I might as well just leave it running until we go past that point. But anyways, I've pretty much gotten you guys all caught up on some of my future videos and plans. And I think, I don't know if it was Dakota, mentioned my 24-hour live streams that I did for a while. It's kind of a compilation of some of my finished programs that I played on a 24-hour loop for, a few months. I am thinking of... Yeah, the crew's having a lot of fun tonight. But anyways, I do plan on doing another more 24-hour live streams in the future. So I have many different...
Send that yard cab back down to the south end there. Run around. Wait.
Yeah, I do have many ideas in the future for 24-hour live streams. I have plans of doing more of those in the future. And we do have a clear signal for a movement on the BNSF, but it's getting late, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, and we will tentatively do another live stream next Friday or Saturday, whichever day works better, usually Friday. And again, I think I got you guys pretty caught up on all of my plans this year so far. I do plan on making a official update video with some ideas for this year that I have planned for my normal long form video uploads that I do. And we'll also be doing these live streams throughout the year as well. These winter train videos, live streams during the winter, and then we'll get back down to the station platform full time as we get closer to spring, but that is still a long ways off. So we'll be enjoying some time in the car watching trains in the meantime. With that, as we go through downtown Ottumwa one more time, as we get ready to leave tonight, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the stream for this evening. Guys, really appreciate all of the viewers this time. And the past several streams got a lot of views, so I really appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week, either Friday or Saturday, most likely Friday, for another video in the Winter Trains and Chat format, or an Amtrak station stop, depending on what the weather does. It might actually be warm enough for one of those, so you'll just have to wait and see what next week will bring. With that, as we turn on to Market Street to go across the BNSF one more time, this is Bobby Harvey from Ottumwa. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you all next week on Down the Line. Thanks for watching, everybody, and so long for this evening.